Let's start this morning off with some sweet, nice, cold carbon dioxide poisoning. Let's go. Good morning, people, and welcome back to the Saturday YouTube channel. If you saw my last video, you're probably wondering, damn, Seuss, I don't know how you're still alive. You ride like shit. You ride like complete shit. It's a miracle. Well, people, I am Christian. I do believe in God, and my name's Jesus. You know what I mean? Hey, Jesus, but actually Jesus, but like with an Edgar cut. You know what I mean? Like Jesus. I'm about to explain to you why and how I survived. You see this car right here? He could have taken me out, but I got a gun. No, but really, I'm not the best rider. Obviously, anybody could see that. But I have been able to stay alive for almost, I think, 15 years riding a motorcycle. So I know a thing or two about staying alive. All right, I have crashed a couple times. They have all been my fault, and it was just because, and they were all due to me just practicing wheelies, stompies, things like that. So I'm from Florida, if you don't know. So we get hurricanes. I don't think it's nothing too crazy. A little water, a little wind, right? But here in Indiana, we got a freaking tornado the other day. It was insane. And I mean, maybe if you didn't know anything about them, it'd just be like, oh, tornado, okay, kind of crazy, right? But no, me and my girl, pretty dumb. Me and my girl, for the past 2 months before we go to sleep, we've been watching these videos of natural disasters that hurricanes caused, tornadoes, volcanoes, just crazy natural disaster in the past 3 years. So there were some recent of things that had happened. The show starts off with the sky kind of turning a little bit dark, right? Just a little cloudy, nothing crazy. And then suddenly you hear a little bit of a whistle, and you're like, oh, what is that? It's kind of creepy, right? You just hear a little bit of a whistle, like, and then you get a little bit of rain, a little bit, nothing too concerning. You're like, okay, this I'm prepared, I'm ready. And then suddenly, silent. Everything stops. The floor is wet, there's no wind. Me and my girl are just watching the show, chilling, like, all right, nothing crazy. And out of nowhere, the person that's filming this, because it's a lot of it is videos from individuals. It's not really like cameras from a building or other things like that. Out of nowhere, it looks like a semi-truck run through all the windows in that building. I think the girl who was taking the video, she's still holding the camera, and the wind is just, it looks like it's trying to pull her out of the building. And it just you don't see anything after that. You just see debris and black and white, things just moving all over the place, and the wind is howling, and I mean howling like a wolf and screaming. And in the show, it shows her boyfriend. It doesn't show. She says the boyfriend pulled her out of this into the room, and then it shows the aftermath. She walks outside, and everything is everywhere. It does not look like what it did before. And that's not really what happened here, luckily, right? We got lucky. But after watching those shows, I just remember being at work and us getting the tornado alarm, and all I could think about was my girlfriend and if she was good. But then I remember she was working at the hospital, so I think that's the best place to be. I should not be making this video. Let's face it, I got lucky I've survived this long. Just kidding, people. I've got lucky I've survived this long. And maybe it's because I have faith. Maybe it's because I believe in God. I don't know. But we're here, baby. And that's all that matters. All right? Let's keep it pushing. Woo, baby. Whoa, that was kind of crazy. That really felt kind of fire, I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, the best and one of the only advice I could really give you so you don't get into an accident and really reduce your chances is always try to keep your head on a swivel. And by that, I don't mean look behind you, see what kind of Nissan, there's a Chevy. Like, it doesn't matter. By keep your head on a swivel, I mean look from here to here at all times. For example, every intersection that kind of comes by right here, I glance over and I check if there's a car coming. Every single one, even if it's not a real intersection. For example, this right here, it's fenced right here. There's no car is gonna come out. But regardless, I see a bit of pavement, I'll look over there. Deer could come running at any second, right? Some of them are inevitable right here. If one was hiding behind this, I would not have seen it. But regardless, keep your head on a swivel. 2, know your bike's limits. For example, that's why, in my opinion, stunting is important to stay getting out of accidents. For example, you need to know how much your bike could brake, how much you could pull in this brake lever without locking up the front tire or the rear tire. You need to know your bike's limits. You need to know at what point you could accelerate in a turn or brake in a turn and not let the bike fall out of control. Because these things, once you have the limits down and you're able to look around, then you're kind of prepared for any situation. Because yeah, I could tell you to position yourself in the left lane for when cars come on this side, and then when cars come on this side, you position yourself on the right side of the lane to greatly reduce your chances. But honestly, man, the likelihood of being in one certain spot and not really saving your accident is minimal, man, because there's cars everywhere. There's cars behind you, in front of you, on your side, everywhere. You just have to look. 3, you could go fast on your sport bike in the right spot, or fast on your Harley if you like to be a loser and you don't like to go fast at all. There's a place and a time to go fast. You can see there's nobody coming out of right here. Nobody is really coming out of right here. If you wanted to, you could mitigate your risk and at least look and then send it. Have a little fun, yes, but you should not be going, you should not be pushing your sport bike, because sport bikes nowadays, when you push them, they skyrocket over the speed limit. You should not push your bike to the limit in areas like this all the way through. Right here, you should not push your bike to the limit all the way through. If you wanted to, you could downshift and just... See? You have to mitigate your risk. You can't just start going crazy in between cars everywhere. You have to kind of, take your chances in a few spots. I'll go straight. I'm probably going to regret saying this, but I genuinely think if you want to be a safer rider, you should go out and practice stunts. Practice braking on your bike as hard as you can. Maybe, yeah, if you have a Harley, maybe you don't have to practice wheelies, right? But you should practice the limit of how that bike turns and brakes really hard and things like that. I don't think it's a bad idea to practice wheelies on it, because at least you know what happens if you accidentally pop the clutch, because it happens, all right? Maybe it just happens to me because I'm a shitty rider, but every once in a while I'll like try to shift and I'll shift wrong and I'll pop the clutch. I'm just like, whoa. I'm really tempted to try stompies on these public roads because you're not hurting nobody, you're just practicing, right? But I feel like I'll look like an idiot. Especially when you get stompies wrong, you just look like, what is this guy doing? What's up, man? Not helmet gang over there. He wants to be seen, he wants to be known. Unlike me, I'm like Batman. I do what I do for the good of the people. Everything's for the kids, for the good of the people. I don't want to take no credit. Maybe it's just me, but it's very wholesome to see all this greenery and farm, you know what I mean? I like it better than the city. I like it better than skyscrapers. And one thing that I feel is not talked about enough is when people define luck. For example, crashing the motorcycle into that ditch would be bad luck, right? Or me buying my first motorcycle is good luck. It's like I got a good deal. It's a bike I've always wanted, right? Or what I was talking about earlier. Since I haven't gotten in an accident with another vehicle in the past, ever for my entire riding career, I must be lucky, right? I'll tell you a story. It's a story about a boy and his grandpa. And the boy is in high school. He joined the school football team. In that, his buddy said, "Damn, man, you're so lucky, dude. You got in. Congrats." And then he went home and he saw his dad, and his dad was like, "Good luck, bad luck, we don't know." A couple days later, oh, this thing is beating me up with grass all over the place. Oh, my neck is itchy. Couple weeks later, whatever, the boy plays his first game, right? The boy breaks his leg running the ball in the first game. All his buddies are like, "Oh man, dude, you're so unlucky, man. I feel bad for you, dude. I'm so sorry this happened to you. You're so unlucky, dude." Anyways, the dad picks him up, takes him to the hospital. The boy says to the dad, "Oh, I'm so unlucky. Why does this happen to me?" And the dad says, "Good luck, bad luck, we don't know." A couple months pass. The country goes to straight shit. The country is at war, and they need bodies to go to the military, so they need young men. All the kids' buddies go to war. They get out of football, they get out of high school, their lives are over. They're going to war to fight for the country. The country's at war. All the kids' buddies tell him, "Dude, wow, you dodged a bullet. You are so lucky. You don't have to go to war. Your leg's broken. Wow, man, you really dodged a bullet on that one. Good. Lucky guy." Kid's like, "Well, I mean, I guess I am." And then the dad sees this event and he looks at the kid and he's like, "Good luck, bad luck, we don't know." Moral of the story is, just because things don't turn out in your favor in the moment doesn't mean that it's good luck, it's bad luck, that it was meant to be, not meant to be, this and that. Everything is how it's supposed to be when it's supposed to happen. That being said, before you start practicing how to brake really hard on your motorcycle, how to prepare for an accident, before you buy your motorcycle, you need to have the mindset of having faith. Not everybody believes in God. You don't have to believe in God. I'm not trying to push that onto nobody. But have some faith in life that everything happens for a reason. You have to know that life moves on and you have to be happy, because these motorcycles, they're temporary happiness. They're temporary escape. You could be having issues at work, issues at the house. You ride the bike, you feel better, but you're going back to home. You're going back to work. I recommend to only get a motorcycle and take on these risks if you have your priorities in check. And at that point, you will make proper decisions and mitigate yourself out of accidents. Look, people, I don't want to pick on nobody. I'm not a bully. But when you write things like that, it makes it hard. It makes it hard to not be a bully and make fun of you. I think I'm soon to become the world's most hated YouTuber. And until next time, we out. Peace.